There are 8 ways right now that are proven to invest in real estate in 2026. If you pick the right one for your situation, you're going to build wealth. However, if you pick the wrong one, you're going to either end up burnt out or you're going to lose money on a strategy that doesn't fit. I'm going to give you all 8 in about 30 seconds, and then I'm going to show you how to pick them. And this is a start video for a series that I'm going to go over the next 2 months. And I'm going to do each one in deep dive. This is just an overview. So if you like it, keep an eye out. Make sure you hit that follow button so we can go over that video. Strategy 1 is going to be fix and flip. You buy a distressed property, you renovate it, and then sell it generally within 12 months. The capital needed on this is going to be high. You need a down payment. Got to cover the rehab, or at least get it started. You have holding reserves that you need. You use a hard money or fix and flip loan that has high interest. The time needed on this is going to be very high. This is a job. This is not a passive investment. Taxes are going to be rough because if you generally held under 12 months, the profit is treated as ordinary income at your marginal rate. Best fit is going to be hands-on operators with a contractor network and access to capital. Reminder, this is not passive. Strategy 2, fix and flip. You're going to buy distressed properties, you're going to renovate them, you're going to place a tenant, you're going to refinance into a long-term DSCR loan, and you're going to have the same physical process as what you would for a BRRRR, with one critical difference. The fix to keep uses a rate and term refinance and not a cash out. So you leave your equity in the deal on purpose. Now, capital needed for this is going to be high, and it stays in the deal, working for you through appreciation. Now, time on this is going to be high during the rehab, but it's going to be passive in the stabilization section of it. Taxes are excellent because depreciation shelters rental income, and long-term capital gains treatment you get when you sell, right? Because you're holding it for a long period of time. Best fit is going to be for investors building a rental portfolio who aren't counting on the refinance funds to go into the next deal. In 2026, most attempted BRRRRs quietly turn into a fix and keep because the cash out doesn't really return enough capital. And it's often the smarter outcome anyway. Strategy number 3, the 3-and-1 method, which is 3 flips and 1 keeper, and then you repeat. You run 3 flips back to back and stack the cash. On your 4th deal, you use that stacked cash to buy a rental property with mostly equity. And then you have a small portion financed as a DSCR loan. And then you repeat the cycle. The capital on this is moderate on your first flip, and then you're self-funding after that. You're just using equity and proceeds from the sales, right? Time on this is going to be very high during the flips, but it's going to be moderate on your keeper. Taxes, your flips are ordinary income, but if you hold your 3rd flip past 12 months and it converts into long-term capital gains. And then you also have your keeper, which that is going to continue to build equity plus depreciation. This is going to be best fit for investors who want a rental portfolio but don't want to fund it through active work. And they're also not depending on the BRRRR math to really pencil out. So strategy 4 is the BRRRR method. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. Physically identical to the fix and keep. The difference is how you use the cash out refinance. You use all of that to pull most of your capital back out as much as you can, and then deploy it back into your next deal. The whole strategy is designed around capital velocity. So capital needed on this one is going to be high up front, potentially recyclable if the numbers work. Potentially, right? Keyword there. The time needed is going to be same as fixed to keep, plus the refinance timeline and the property management aspect of it. Taxes are excellent. Cash out refinances are not taxable. Best fit. Investors who want maximum portfolio velocity on deals where the ARV supports a 75% cash out that recovers your capital. At 2026 rates, that's a narrower set on a lot of deals than it was 5 years ago. Strategy number 5, you buy and hold, or which is called like a turnkey style property. You buy a rent ready property, you place a tenant, there's no rehab needed, and you're paying for cash flow plus appreciation. And then you also get depreciation as well. The capital needed is going to be moderate to high, typically 20 to 25% down on DSCR loans. The time needed on this is going to be low. Generally, you're going to have passive. It's generally passive with a property manager. If you're doing it by yourself, it might be a little higher. Taxes are excellent on this one because depreciation, you have mortgage insurance. You also can use 1031 exchange options when you sell it for long-term capital gains. This is going to be best fit for professionals who really want real estate exposure, but they don't want to become a project manager. Strategy 6, short-term rental. You buy in a tourism or business travel market, you rent by night or on Airbnb or Vrbo, and that's gross revenue, often 2 to 4 times what long-term rent would be. But you do have expenses that are much higher. The capital on these are going to be moderate to high is what you're going to need. You also have to consider, and a lot of investors underestimate, you're going to need furniture and you're going to need to set up the entire home. You're going to have it perfect, rent ready, right? The time on this is going to be moderate to high without a host. If you get a host, they do majority of the work. You just have to make sure it's cleaned. Taxes, potentially the best of any strategy. The short-term rental tax loophole can often offset the W-2 income if you materially participate in the process. But talk to a CPA. Best fit. This is for investors targeting vacation markets like Coeur d'Alene here locally. And that's also post July 1st. There's an Idaho House Bill 583 that's really going to help those as well. Or if you're also looking in high yield markets when it works. Taking a quick pause, comment strategy guide below and I'll send you a selector worksheet. And make sure you hit that subscribe or follow button because next Wednesday I'm going to hit a deep dive on fix and flips and then I'm going to move to fix and keeps and keep going down the list. And I'm also going to show you why the BRRRR method quickly turns into a fix to keep in most deals in 2026. Strategy number 7, wholesaling. Find a distressed seller, get the property under contract at a discount, assign the contract to a buyer for a fee, and you never own it. Capital on this that's going to be needed is very low. Sometimes you just have earnest money out there, if any. Time on this, however, is going to be very high. This is a marketing business. You're going to have to make a lot of phone calls. You're going to be constant deal negotiation. But this is not a real estate business. So taxes, ordinary income, right? There's no depreciation, no capital gains treatment. It's just income. Now, best fit is going to be for beginners with no capital, but a strong hustle. Now, great starting strategy but it's weak long-term wealth strategy. Generally, people cannot do this for a long term. You also do not build any assets. Strategy number 8, house hacking. You buy a 2 to 4 unit, live in one, rent the others. Tenants cover most of your mortgage. The capital of this is going to be lowest of any strategy outside of the wholesaling strategy. And the FHA is generally about 3 to 5% down, and conventionals are generally around 5%, with VA for those that qualify at 0 down. Time is also going to be low to moderate. You're a landlord, but your tenants are right next to you. Taxes are also favorable because you have homeowner benefits on your unit, and then the other units you're going to be using as rental properties. Now, This is going to be best fit for first-time investors and anyone eligible for FHA or VA financing. Generally, if you're 35 and under, this is going to be perfect because you can live in it for a while you're building for your home. The financing alone gives you 5 to 15 times more leverage than any investment loan will. And this is objectively probably the best way to start investing in real estate in America right now. So here's how you pick. You got to ask yourself 3 questions. 1, how much capital do I have? If you're under 50, you're generally going to be the wholesale, fix and flip, or house hack. The 50 to 200,000, you're going to want to do the fix to keep or turnkey rentals. Above 200K, all strategies are wide open. Now, there's question number 2. How much time can I commit? Under 10 hours a week, you're going to want to stay to turnkeys or the house hack. If you can invest 10 to 30 hours, fix to keep or the BRRRR. Excuse me, sorry. Throat's getting a little dry there. But if you're 10 to 30, you can do the fix to keep or the BRRRR method. Now, if you can do this full time, you can do the fix to flip, 3-in-1, wholesale. I mean, whatever you got, you're going to get the most out of those. Now, the third question, what is your goal? If your goal is cash flow, you're going to want to stick by buy and hold or short-term rentals. If it's appreciation, fix to keep or house hack. If it's a lump sum, fix and flip, 3-in-1, or wholesale. And the one rule that I want to make sure you hit is you don't stack strategies until you mastered one. And we'll get into that a little bit later on the other videos. Bottom line is this. There's 8 strategies. Each works for the right investor in the right market at the right time. This is complicated. This is not easy. The mistake isn't picking the wrong one. It's picking one that doesn't match your capital, your time, or your end goal. So make sure you hit comment or hit that comment button, put in a strategy guide, hit that below. And I'll give you a free selector worksheet, right? Every Wednesday, I'm doing a deep dive on one of these for the next 2 months, starting with fix to flip. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Hit that follow button so you can continue to see the videos that I push out as well. If you want to walk through your situation, call or text me. The number's in the description. I'm here to help build this strategy for you. I'm Robert with OpenLane Funding. I'll see everyone on Friday.